Come on. Come on. Right. Hi guys. Yeah, I know I look silly with this headset on, but it's got a better mic than my computer, which is now further away from me. So you won't be able to hear me as much. Right. Okay. The Greg thing has got more in depth and worse for him. Um, Over the last week or so, it isn't just Sarah that's come out and said this, and this. This is the way he treated me. This is what happened. These are the conversations that we had. They even discussed as a couple the taking of my virginity and things like that. Then, sort of to back them up, Isla's backing her up, Billy's backing her up, and then you also have Shyla and Sky backing her up. Both Shyla and Sky have revealed information about their relationships with them. The incident that the two incidents we thought were fake, because I think Reg had forced her to say that they were fake, but they actually weren't, which was the seizure and when he was on the phone to the police, and she's there, he's shouting, he's filming me, I don't want him to film me. We all believed that they were fake because of what was said, and I think he sort of pressured them into saying that they were fake. Turns out that they weren't. They actually did happen. So when his girlfriend was having a seizure and ended up with amnesia because of the seizure, which is common, instead of taking her to a hospital to get her checked out, which if somebody has a seizure and they don't usually have a seizure, you have to do just in case there's brain damage, he didn't do that. He got his camera out and decided to record her. And then another incident, instead of sitting down with her and saying, right, what are your issues, blah, 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 he's actually recorded her saying that he's recording me. I just want him to leave me alone. I just want him to... And he just wouldn't. Apparently he made Sky, and by the word made I mean made, sign a divorce contract that turned out to be invalid. And he basically said, I think he said something like, you sign this, or he threatened her anyway. I can't remember the exact specifics, no to me, but he threatened her. He really threatened her, to the point where it was painful to watch. It was painful to watch. Let's see if I can find the tweets in question. Accuses Sky of being greedy. Because in the marriage contract he made her sign, he basically said in the divorce contract that everything would go to Greg. He would essentially pay her alimony for a year, and then after that year, she's to make her own way financially, which doesn't work that way. She helped him build the channel. She helped him become what he was, and he decided, he realised if I divorce her and she takes me to court, she could walk away with half of the house, etc., so on and so forth. And he didn't like it when he found out that tough shit. And then there's the fact that he was talking to Shiloh while he was still married to Sky. She thought everything was fine until all of a sudden she found the messages, confronted him, and that's when he said, well, you're signing this divorce contract. He crossed state lines for Shiloh so that he could have an adult relationship with her. there's a lot of people that have come out about Greg. I know some of his other exes haven't come out, but a lot of the more recent ones have. And the fact that his ex-wife is backing Sarah up, the fact that his other huge notable relationship, Shiloh, is backing them up. The fact that everybody's saying this, and he's saying, oh, they're just haters, they're just greedy, they just want to pull me down, they just want to do this. It's like, no, they're not haters. They don't want to pull you down. They're seeing the fact that you have a type. When Shiloh got to, when Sky got too old, you went for Shiloh. When Shiloh got too old, you went for Lainey. And now I think Lainey's getting to the point where they're too old. That's why you're going for people like Sarah and Billy. Because you have this thing where you have to be with young girls, which is fucking creepy to me. I like girls and I like guys. Those of you that know me know this. I like my girls and my guys to be mature. The ones that are regulars to my channel know and have seen my husband. And he's a big guy. He's a big guy, and he's not childish in any way. He's not immature in any way. I would never go for somebody over 10 years younger than me. Ever. I just wouldn't. It's not who I am. It's not what I am. It's not who I've grown to be. The fact that this guy, who's only a few years younger than me, is chasing after 18-year-olds is sick. It is absolutely revolting. And the fact that he essentially groomed somebody he was in contact with from when she was 15, and they had legal guardianship of her for certain reasons from 16 to 18, and then not long after she turned 18 they entered a sexual relationship, is absolutely revolting and absolutely disgusting. But the thing with Greg is he skates on what is illegal. And for him to say that grooming isn't illegal unless sex actually happens, that is true. That is unfalse. That is completely unfalse. If you communicate with a minor in an effort to enter a sexual relationship with that minor, or with the intent to enter a sexual relationship with that child, regardless of whether it actually goes as far as to enter a sexual relationship with that child, grooming is illegal and it's immoral. There are numerous cases where people have been charged with grooming. There are numerous instances where the parents have done what they're supposed to do. Now, the thing with Greg is he picks people that he knows he can victimise easily. He did that with Sky. He did that with Charlotte. He did that with Sarah. He did that with Sam. He did that with Billy. And he did that with Lainey. He's a creepy git. I dread to think what goes on in that house. I really do, Noodle. I really do. If even a fraction of this is true, it's disgusting. It's been revealed by his exes that he forced Sky to sign a divorce contract that wasn't legally binding, saying that he would get the house, that he would get all the money, that he would get complete control of the YouTube channel. And he forced her to sign it, basically. Obviously, when she then challenged that in court, it came back to bite him in the ass. And that's why he was whining for fucking years. Oh, I'm tired. It's fucking slavery, this. And it's like, do one. The instance that we thought were fake with Shiloh, which was the stroke and the calling the police on her, that he had made her convince everybody that they were fake. They actually weren't. They were real. Which, in hindsight, I can see that. So instead of his girlfriend that he's been with for a while has a seizure, It's completely out of the ordinary. She's never had a seizure before, etc., so on and so forth. But instead of thinking, right, she had a seizure, she could have brain damage, let's take her to the hospital. No, 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 no. He decided to record her. He mentally abused her to the point of men's language. Exactly. He is a manipulative asshole. He is one of the worst manipulators on this platform. And the fact that he's still on this platform when he is blatantly breaking the rules is an annoyance to many of us. And I mean many of us. We are literally sick of screaming at YouTube saying, look, this is what's going on. You need to fix this. You need to sort this. And you need to do it now. And YouTube are like, yeah, well, it don't matter. It's not. It's fine. It's fine. It's like, no, it's not fine. You've got somebody who's abusing his power to do what he wants on your platform. He's abusing the YouTube copyright system. He's threatening to sue people for slander and defamation when everything that they're saying they can back up. Makes no sense. And yeah, I know there's Teddy's behind me, but I really just wanted to get on here and talk. I'm really surprised that he was still has any platform. Something does not make sense exactly. What has he got on YouTube that makes them want to do that? So how come he gets away with grooming vulnerable young girls? Because he brainwashes them into thinking that they're special, that they're wonderful, that he truly loves them and that he truly wants to be with them. And then he manipulates them to the point where he makes them believe that if they go to police, they won't believe him because he's got power and authority, which he hasn't, but he likes to make people think he has. Which is, They banned Alex Jones for his opinions, yet Onision can groom children on the very same platform. Exactly. Me neither. YouTube's logic is very flawed. There are other issues with YouTube at the minute, especially around the children section. But the fact that it isn't just YouTube, though, because he still has a Patreon. And he's actually communicating with underage girls on Patreon. But he still has a Patreon. He still has a Twitter. Granted, it's extremely protected. And you have to actually be on his Patreon to actually get onto his Twitter. Sorry, I just cringed hard then. I'm not joking. This guy, he doesn't only make my blood boil. He makes me want to pull my hair out because when he sees other people have what he wants, he accuses them of the worst thing. If somebody tells their truth about their relationship and their involvement with him, he then accuses them of being the worst thing on earth. Kai/Lainey and Greg actually accused Sarah of raping Kai. And then there's the fact that Kai was showing explicitly, they were showing their genitalia to Sarah before Sarah was 18. When she's supposed to be a legal guardian. Sorry, they're supposed to be a legal guardian. And then there's the fact that literally every single one of his relationships overlaps. You have Adrian to Sky, Sky to Shyla to Lainey, and then the relationships that have happened with Lainey's involvement, i.e. Billy and Sarah. I think he wanted them to be the next Lainey, but because they eventually either disobeyed his rules or disobeyed his wants and needs or decided better of it, it fell through. Oh, I dread to think. I'm just going off the stuff that I've watched over the last few days, like the voicemails where he's begging Sky 1 minute and then the next minute he's calling her every name under the sun. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see if I can find any. I'll say. He's tried to drag Sky, apparently, on his Patreon. For privacy, they can put Sky in particular as actually a primary creator, actor and filmographer for the context she's in. Surely she can actually file financial claims and the content never compensated via Wheel of Sky. Content of the the sad story of which then there's his obsession with Sky's sister, because he was, even after Sky and Onision split up, he was trying to contact Sky's sister, and that didn't go well. At a part in Onision's videos atrocious. Not only badmouths his exes once again because he has no talent, so he's badmouthing them again. Apparently he's been selling the pictures of the girls he asked to send naked photos to no paedophile who are his top Patreons. That wouldn't surprise me. He's been oh god, that makes me feel sick. If he's doing that, then I really don't understand why he's got a Patreon. I really don't understand why he's got a Patreon. Oh god, that makes me feel sick. The fact that this guy can still manipulate kids, and the fact that this guy can still manipulate his way into getting those photos and that information from kids is disgusting. Some new videos, I'll have to have a look. I'll probably cover it later on in the week. But oh god, literally every time I hear something new about Onision, it makes me feel physically sick. Makes me feel physically sick. The fact that he seems to think that, it's all his exes are ganging up on him. No, they're only saying what their truth is. And the fact that he has a history of this, he has a history of getting photos of underage girls and sharing them on his YouTube videos. The fact that he has a history of trading in his partners for younger versions that are always generally around the age of 18 is disgusting. And I think at the minute he is looking to replace Kai. And the main reason being, I think Kai's now a bit too old for him. And the fact that he seems to think it's fine and it's okay to do what he does. He abuses his power. He abuses his authority. He abuses his ability to do certain things. But yet he, when he gets kickback from it, he then sits there and complains. And I know there'll be a comment, yes, I know there's teddies behind me, that has no bearing on this conversation because I've had that comment before. I just wanted to get this on. So I've been watching videos today and it was making me mad. So as soon as the husband was at work, I just loaded and I just forgot to move them. Okay? Chill. At the end of the day, he pulls in his victims with money. He pulls in his victims because of his fame, because of his power. And the fact that he's still allowed to be on this platform after all this, something needs to be done. Thank you, Noodle. It is something that YouTube do need to do something about, and Patreon and Twitter. He essentially needs to have all his avenues of making money on the internet to be stopped, and I don't say that lightly, but I know what people like him can do to people, and I know the damage that they can do to people, and I don't want a child to be victimised by him ever, 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 ever again, because it's stomach churning. It really is stomach churning, and I just want to slap somebody upside the back of the head, if that makes sense. It's but it's just one of those things. We just have to keep making YouTube, Patreon and Twitter aware of what's going on. Patreon, if the allegations are true that Noodles mentioned and they are real, then the FBI should be involved. Then the police should be involved. CPA should be involved in Washington. A lot of other people should be involved. I'm going to have a look at the videos, and then as a mandated reporter, I then have to do something. If I feel that these people are truly at risk, which I will probably end up having to do tomorrow. I'm going to have a fun day tomorrow, I know. Because as a mandated reporter, I have to do something about it. OJ. So, yeah. No, she's not. She's got away from them. Joanne, she has completely got away from them, which I'm glad of. She was under his manipulation till about a month and a half ago, I think. And she started to break away from them. And she's realised how bad of a situation. Probably. And the fact that he says that it's not illegal, she was 18. It's like, actually, it is illegal because you were her legal guardians before she was 18. So you are essentially classed as a parent. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's 19 now, I think. 18 and a half, 19. And they were talking to her from when she was 15. 14, 15. The fact that this guy, a few days after her birth, they made her sign some shit. Yes, they made her sign their NDA. They made her sign an NDA, which, if this is something that we found out with the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, if the topic of the NDA is an illegal act, then the NDA is non-enforceable. Non-enforceable, that's the words. Non-enforceable. Because that came out after the Harvey Weinstein, because what he did was illegal. Him making people sign NDAs was non-enforceable because what he did was illegal. He definitely is insane. I have to agree with that. He literally makes my blood boil, and he makes my skin crawl in every sense of the word. No, it isn't. It isn't. The NDA is not legally binding in the slightest. Which I didn't realise if it involved a criminal act, then it was not legally binding. Oh, he does. He loves his legal papers, just like he tried to get Sky to sign a divorce paper. He forced her to sign it, which would leave her with fuck all. Apart from he'd pay her alimony for a year, not like the multiple years that he did. just for a year, and she wouldn't get the house. She wouldn't get anything to do with the house, anything to do with YouTube or anything like that. But in the end, he ended up having to give her a flat fee because of her involvement in the YouTube channel. When it started, he got one house, she got the other, and they split some of the money as well, which he didn't like, but he has no option in the matter. Oh yeah, it was one of his copy and paste specials, just like he did with Joy, just like he did with Rexion, just like he did with everybody else that talks about him. I am so surprised he hasn't done that with me. Mind you, I haven't checked that email for a while. But at the end of the day, one thing, and I think you guys have been with me for a while, so you'll know this. One thing I will constantly stand up for is child protection. If you hurt a child or you abuse a child, which essentially they did because they groomed a child to enter a sexual relationship with them when she became an adult, then I will go after you. And the other thing that pisses me off that people do is, as soon as they get hit for something, they'll accuse that person of being a predator. Him and Cookie do it all the fucking time, and it pisses me off. I'm sure he thinks that he's some sort of a solicitor lawyer. He thinks so. But the thing is, Kai's dad is a lawyer, I think, if I remember rightly. That relationship is fucking creepy. I'm sorry, but it is. Everything about that relationship gives me the creeps. It's not Kai per se, although her involvement in this is not as negligible as... or not as minimal as they would like people to think. I do think a lot of the way Kai has changed has been influenced by Greg. And I do think that their influence over Kai is very, very disturbing. But from what I've heard, Kai is almost as bad. So... And there are children in that house. Great. It's like a horror film, living in the house that must be like a Stephen King film. Worse. Try a... Oh, who's the worst? Try an Alfred Hitchcock movie. He's maniacal and arrogant and narcissistic and psychotic and psychopathic and... definitely has borderline personality disorder of some form. The fact that this guy thinks he's special. And then somebody said, oh, Shane should do a documentary on him. No, Shane should stay as far away from him as possible because he doesn't like Shane. Because Shane's extremely famous. Right, well, I'll just do a quick search. I'll show you once I've done it because I really am interested. Right, so... Social Blade. Right. Right. So, right, this is Social Blade. So you have... This is Shane's. He's 2.2 million subscribers. 22.6 million subscribers. He's got well over 5 billion views. He is a total A-grade star. He's comedy / documentary. His channel was created 14 years ago. He's got over 1,000 uploads, etc. Right. So, these are all of... We'll try this one, which is his main channel. He's a B-grade channel. Shane is 665th on Social Blade rank. Greg is 53,007. Now, if I were to type my name in, I'd be right at the fucking bottom, which is fine by me. He's comedy again. His channel was created shortly after Shane's. Video views 335 million, so nowhere near the amount that Shane's got. He's got, I'd probably say, about the 10th of the subscribers. Right. Let's just look. His video views for the last 30 days are 2.31 million, right? Shane, 79.9 million. Bearing in mind, we will just jump over to Shane's YouTube. I was checking something for an article I'm doing, that's why that came up. Right, so let's have a look. So let's jump onto that. So his previous video to the ones he's done this week were 2 months ago, and then the ones previous to that were 5 months ago. So yeah, in the last week he's had a substantial amount of, even if you just go off the 2 videos that released this week, that is 32 million views. But yet here it's showing at 79. So that's over twice the amount of views that he got on his last 2 videos. Let's jump on to Onision. That's another reason why he hates people, because they're more popular than him. And they're more popular than him. And he doesn't like it. And Shane won't support him. Shane won't help him. Shane won't do anything for him.
Hey there, guys. I have this document here.
Piss off. So it's pretty much failed as an adult. Forward about me. That's 3 weeks ago. I can't do this anymore, saying goodbye. Yeah, but the thing is, Greg, we don't believe you, so fuck off. Yeah, too right. She's as bad, definitely. They took a girl in, look after her like a parent, and all along had other ideas. Exactly. He also picks particular. Yes, Noodle, that was just about what I was just about to say. Noodle says, yes, they target girls from difficult backgrounds and then prey on them. Exactly. They did it with Sarah. He did it with Sky. He did it with Shyla. He did it with Lainey / Kai. And they did it with Billy and with Sarah and Sam. Sam wasn't having a great relationship at home, so then she moved in to help them. And then when she wouldn't submit to their desires, then she got kicked out. Sarah, they knew she had a tough home life, so they brought her in. They parented her for a couple of years. Well, all the while they were thinking, right, as soon as she hits 18, that's it. And then as soon as she hits 18, that's it. They hit her and then run. Same with Billy. She had a difficult home life. Same happened there. Same with Charlotte. The same with Sky. And he literally jumps from one relationship to another. He jumped from Sky to Charlotte. He jumped from Shiloh to Lainey. And I think if the Billy situation or the Sarah situation had worked out, they'd have been the next partner. Yeah, I know you can see him probably trolling around for the next one. Exactly. The mentality molded them into the situation where Greg would have become the cult leader of the harem of underage girls. Exactly. He has a thing about underage girls. He has a thing about creepy people. He's a creepy person because he has this thing about centering on them and making them believe that everything's wonderful, everything's perfect, and that he's this really, really nice guy and he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, and that he really, truly cares about these people, while all the time in the back of his head he's thinking, as soon as you are of age, I'm going to, whether it's in this state or in another state, and it's like he'll say, yeah, but I didn't have relations with Shiloh until she was 16, because that's the age of consent in Washington. It's like, that may very well be, but the fact that you waited until she was 16 is fucking disgusting. And then you took your current partner to another state so that you can get married without their parents' permission, before they turned 18. It's also as revolting. And this is something you do on a regular basis. And to say that I'm innocent, I didn't do this, I'm completely innocent, is absolutely disgusting. And to emotionally manipulate your fans into thinking you are the victim, that you've done nothing wrong, that everything's perfect, and that Greg is always right. And swivel. That is one thing that will always piss me off, is when you get these fangirls protecting Greg. And it's like, no. But like I say, he doesn't like that Jacqueline Glenn has better views than him. So he'll attack her, thinking that he'll get support. And it's like, no. He'll do the same with Shane. He did that bullshit documentary, of crying out loud, where he called Shane a predator. Contact the child protection in his county. Contact the FBI. Contact so that they can investigate the Patreon. Tweet and just constantly tweet Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon to try and get those stopped. Excuse me. My daughter works with young girls who have been through shit like this, and it does. I won't go into specifics, but I've been a victim of something like this, and I can tell you it doesn't help the mental state whatsoever. Can he ever be stopped? It seems like he will continue to abuse and ruin children's lives. I feel helpless and powerless watching him destroy these kids. The only thing we can do is just continuously do this. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Noodle. Yeah, she is as bad. We do need to raise this to the attention of the authorities, because it is gone past a case of, oh, it's just this guy on the YouTube being a little bit creepy. Even if just a fraction of the shit is true, he needs to be convicted. For fuck's sake, we have somebody that was a content creator on this very platform that was soliciting videos of a mature nature from people under the age of 18, and he is either in prison or in a mental hospital currently. So why can't we do the same with Greg? Which is what we need to do. We need to report this to as many people as possible. Now, when Joy did it, I was against it, because at the time there was no proof that his children was at risk. If it is true that these pictures are being shown on Patreon, if it is true that he is soliciting pictures of underage girls from fans, then that needs to go to the FBI. That is their purview, that is their job. It also needs to be brought to the attention of the CPA agency in his area, in his county, which is... let's have a look. Residence. It's Gig Harbour. So on the Puget Sound in Washington State. So it's the CPA for that area that we need to get in contact with. The FBI, the police. I think Repsion has reported him. Let's just have a look at something. I just want to check something. Excuse me. Yes, I am 18 over. Excuse me. Community cage unlocked. Direct messaging ability. Relationship and train wrecks. It's finally here. Learning and growing. How much money does it make on Patreon? Ah, he has it hidden. Why doesn't that surprise me? So yeah, its top tier Patreon is $250, which gives you phone call once a month. No, thank you. Admin status on Discord. No, thank you. Thank you messages from in the beginning of Onision's videos while pledged. Nope. All lowercase. So just click on news. Turtle thoughts. YouTube is still burning a year later. Nope. So there's nothing on that, but I will definitely look into the videos. Pierce County Police. Right, I will write that down. Pierce County Police. And it's like something a lot of people find a bit surprising about me is I'm trained in forensics, and one of the things we covered was child protection. I'm currently working on a book about child protection because I actually have an interview soon with one of the biggest names in child protection. Might mention this to him. See what he thinks. He's the guy who exposed Jimmy Savile in just over a week. Shit, I've got to get my questions ready. And the fact that this is something that I'm well trained on, and people say, "Oh, you don't know what you're on about," it's like, bitch, fuck off. Hasn't he already had child protection round there that took no action? Yes, but that was before the full extent of this came true. What I was saying before I went on a tangent was when Joy was ringing child protection every 5 minutes, I was against it because at that point the only thing we have is that he treats his partners like shit, and we have the bad way he reacted with the whole Billy thing. Now, what's happened over the last 2-3 weeks, last month, has actually made me realise that this is a lot more severe than we think. That's the Patreons. Please mention it. I will. Actual fact, I will write it down on my little thing. Really should have that underneath the keyboard. Top tier Patreon using to share pics under like I said, when she did it, I was against it because at that point we didn't know what we know now. Now we need to do what we did with the Daddy of Five situation. We need to ring this bell. I am against Shane covering it because of the fact that there is such a continuous contentious relationship between Greg and Shane. I'm against drama channels covering it because drama channels are good at drama. And yes, this is drama. However, they don't always centre on the seriousness of things like this at all. One in particular that likes to throw around the same accusation Greg does, which pisses me off. So yeah, I would like it if Phil covered it. I really would. But because he sort of borders on drama, I understand why he wouldn't. But if he lended his voice to this, it would show a lot of credence, and it would make mainstream media sit and listen, because he was the one that raised the whole daddy fight thing last year, and if it wasn't for him, those 2 kids would still be in that house. That's my personal belief. I know Johnny likes to make people think it was because of her, but it isn't. It's because of Phil, because Phil's the one who really kicked off about that. But I don't think he'd hurt his kids, but I wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't put anything past him from what I've heard of late. I just thought he was a narcissistic ass, and I kept giving him a second chance. I kept thinking, right, if you change your ways, you might be able to get some of your fame back. You might be able to get some of your numbers back. You might be able to recoup some of the money that you overclaimed on with the IRS. But you haven't. You've just gotten from bad to worse. And he probably not. Just let me check something. Because people are calling him a pedo. But I don't think he's actually technically a pedo, because he goes for people that are barely legal. The worst thing is, in this country we have different spelling for that word. Let's have a look. There is 2 other words. Let's have a look. He's an epiphile, which is spelt EPHEB or file, and they are the people that are preliminary sexual. I'll actually show you this sheet so you can see. Actually, I'll click that a sec. But this is what I think Greg is. I know I'm diagnosing him. Terrible, I know. So we'll go on to that. We'll go on to that. Hebephile is strong, persistent sexual interest in adults, by adults in pubescent, early adolescent. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's hebephile. I didn't want hebephile. I want that one. It's primary sexual interest into mid to late adolescence, generally ages 15 to 19, which would fit. It would fit with what Greg does. It would fit with who he is. It would fit with the whole 9 yards. I know I'm going to get hit for this. I got hit on my last video. But at the end of the day, I will forever speak up and protect kids. The stories I know from university and the stories I know from the research that's literally right next to me right now, I can tell you now that if those children are being hurt in any way, they need to be pulled out of that house. He doesn't seem to be the caring type. No, he doesn't. He's selfish. He's very selfish. He's very self-centered. He's very arrogant. Distributing and receiving pictures of underage girls makes him a pedo. Yes, in the legal sense, yes. Because for all intents and purposes, the term pedo is used as an umbrella term. But the psychiatric term would be the hebephile. Ephebophile. But he needs to be stopped. And he needs to face justice for the shit that he's done. He really does, because if he doesn't, and this continues, he's just going to harm more and more people. And it needs to be stopped sooner rather than later. It's just the whole thing makes me feel physically sick. He makes me feel physically sick. It really does make me feel physically sick. Oh. Oh. But yes, I'm going to do this research, and I will probably end up doing another live stream, probably during the week. I'm going to definitely research what you've mentioned to me, Noodle. Let's write your name down a second. And then obviously, I probably will end up doing it anyway, but I'll probably have to report it. So, stay safe, be good, have fun. I will see you soon. I'm going to calm down, and then I will probably do some research and get pissed off again. Good night, guys, and I will see you very soon. What did I do that for? That's not what I wanted to do. That is really not what I wanted to do. Be good, guys. Look after yourselves.